you call on me, cause I don't wanna be.
Guys, what is up? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. I did that video a couple weeks ago, 10 niche fragrances if I could only keep 10 in my collection. I was tagged by Renee for that video, and even before he tagged me, I had an idea to do that, but I was going to actually first keep 10 designer fragrances. I find myself wearing designer fragrances a lot now, to be honest with you guys. I love niche, I love designer, and I'm always gonna love both, and always want to have both in my collection. And I think designer sometimes are just easier to wear, and I think niche is often more fulfilling and fun to wear, if that makes sense. But I picked 10 that I would need to keep if I got rid of my collection, and they're in no particular order. So let's just get right into them. The first one is going to be from the house of Cartier. Yeah, this one is called Roadster. And man, this is a brilliant, simple fragrance. There's 3 notes, and you're going to see, by the way, guys, I wear all of these fragrances. This is a brilliant scent. Three notes in this, to my nose: vanilla, patchouli, and mint. But it's funny, if you're a perfumer at home and you try to make this with vanilla, patchouli, and mint, you're gonna have something completely different. It's a very smooth vanilla, it's a very cooling mint, and it's a very light patchouli, not a dark menthol patchouli with chocolate and eucalyptus. This is a smoothed out, light, almost refreshing patchouli. This is a great fragrance for the springtime. Maybe a little bit too cooling for the summer, but I think it works in fall as well. This was composed by Mathilde Laurent for Cartier, I believe, and it's just a brilliant scent. Easily, this is a big time favorite of mine. Next, we're going to go to the House of Bulgari. This is a discontinued fragrance, but I think it's still out there, so there's a good time to get your hands on it. This is by, I think, Nick Minardo, another brilliant one. This is Bulgari Black. Again, I put a dent in my bottle. Simple in terms of note breakdown, like Roadster. This has leather, vanilla, tea, and rubber. Without that rubber, it's sort of similar to Midnight in Paris by Van Cleef & Arpels, another discontinued fragrance, but the rubber note puts it better than that, I think, in terms of elegance, overall scent, oddity. This is just brilliant. Again, it's super nice to wear this one fall, winter, the rubber, the tea, the vanilla, just a beautiful perfume, different, and just expertly composed, and again, a pretty simple scent. Next, let's go to the house of Christian Dior. So, quick story about this fragrance. I was looking for a new scent the year this dropped. I don't remember exactly when. And I was at Sephora, and I remember being like, I want something different. And they're like, we just got this fragrance in. It's the new Dior sort of flagship fragrance for men. It's called Dior Homme. And I was like, do you have a tester? And they're like, no. But they said this is their new one. They haven't, I think after Fahrenheit, there were a couple things. There was Higher, there was Dune. Both good fragrances, but none of them really captured me. I think they're both good in retrospect, but I was looking for the next big thing. And they said they were the first Sephora in New York to get it. They had gotten it before a bunch of other retailers. They're like, you'd literally be one of the first people in New York City with Dior Homme. So I was like, all right, I bought it. The original, bottle, and I remember going home, spraying it, and thinking it was weirder than what I was used to, but eventually falling in love with it, and then just always having a bottle of it in my collection. And when I started to get into Fragcom, I realized that this was really an esteemed fragrance, and it sort of gave me justification that my nose was good. I don't have a vintage bottle. I don't think there's a huge difference between the current formulation and the vintage. Although if you can get it, go with the vintage, I'd say. But this is just iris, leather, cocoa, and lavender, and again, just a brilliant composition. I have sports, I have parfum, I have intense. They're all great. I think this is my favorite just because it's the OG, and I really do love it. I think you cannot go wrong with it. It's about as elegant of a designer fragrance as you're ever going to find, and perfect for a black tie occasion. Or in the colder weather, you can rock this with jeans and a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, hoodie. It's just great. It's just a great cozy fragrance. Next up, there's another fragrance that I bought this at Sephora before I got into FragCon, and I was just like, whoa, man, it smells like super expensive soap. And I just fell in love with it. I think my older bottles had the notes listed on it, and I think this has been discontinued in favor of other versions of this, but if you go online, you can still get it. It's just a brilliant soapy fragrance, but beyond being just soapy, you've got whatchamacallit in this. Iris, big iris note, neroli, vetiver. It's powdery. There's some little bit of benzoin in the base. It's just a brilliant, expensive smelling fragrance, and it's obviously, if you haven't figured it out, it's Prada's Infusion Dome. I love that scent so much. Next, this is one that I really haven't didn't fall in love with until maybe a year or so ago, but in a major way. And this to me is just elegance again. It's something I really personally, this version I would again only wear in colder weather. It's a little too much in the heat, but it's just timeless and classic. I think it's unisex. It's a dandy sort of fragrance. There's so much going on in it. I talked about the simpler. These are kind of a little bit, Dior Homme isn't simple, but these are kind of simple. This is the opposite. This is lemon, rose, vanilla, leather, florals, resins, woods. It's a masterpiece, and it's super affordable, and it's Abbot Rouge, the Eau de Parfum by Guerlain. I prefer the Eau de Parfum. Just think it has more going on in it, and I think it's an absolutely genius fragrance. This is the one that started my love of fragrance. I've told the story. In 7th grade, my boy was wearing this, and chicks were flocking to him, and I thought it just smelled so amazing. He brought the bottle in the next day. I smelled it from the bottle, and I just knew that I needed to have it in my life, and since then, I've never gone without a bottle. Yes, the version back then was stronger. There were materials that have been restricted or altogether banned since the time that this released, and this is absolutely a neutered version. I would love to own a bottle from the 90s or the 80s, late 80s even, or even early 2000s, but it is what it is. I still think it smells great. It just doesn't have the bite that the original had. And of course, this is just Fahrenheit. This is my favorite fragrance of all time. In case you didn't know, it's leather, violet, nutmeg, a lot of spices, and then that gasoline, petroleum note. Just a brilliant perfume. So love that one. Next up, another one that I really, this is one that even though, like Abbot Rouge, even though it's been out forever, I didn't really fall in love with this one until I smelled it, and I blind bought this. People were just calling this the ballsiest fragrance ever, and I was just like, I gotta get a bottle and see what it's about. And I remember first sort of smelling it and being like, oh, it's good, but whatever. And then I just kept going back to it and the use of civet and honey and leather and musk and aldehydes and oak moss. I'm spraying it now, actually. I love the way this smelled. And what's crazy is that I'm pretty sure most of this fragrance is made with a big, quote, NML 1745. I forget the company that makes it, but I have it. And I remember smelling it when I got it, and I was like, this is Koros. This is Koros. I don't know that Koros is much more than this base. So I don't know, but I don't know if the base came first or the perfume, but that's Koros by Yves Saint Laurent, and man, I love this fragrance. I'll move these guys over so I could finish. So next up, this is one that I missed the boat when it came out, and the way I got my hands on this one, because this is discontinued, it came back out, and I guess sales weren't so good, and they dropped it again. I got a sample of this from Decant Shop and I loved it. And the owner, Adriana, was like, hey, I have an extra bottle. It's like partial, it's like 70-80%. I'll give it to you for like what I paid for if you want it. And I jumped on it. I'm really happy that I did. This is amazing, amazing scent. This is like lavender, incense, cinnamon, spices, mint, vanilla. I sort of look at it as a gourmand barbershop scent. Which I love. This is from Victor and Rolf. It's called Antidote, and I know that they've had so much success with Spice Bomb, but I really wish they'd bring this one back because there's really nothing that smells like this. That's a brilliant scent. Last two, you guys, I'm sure can guess this one. This is definitely my favorite designer barbershop fragrance of all time. I can't say whether the newer version in a different bottle is as good because I only smelled that one briefly, but I know that when I finish this bottle I have to get more of it because I always need this in my collection. This is lavender and rosemary and star anise and geranium and patchouli, and it smells like a cross between a barbershop and shaving cream, Barbasol. It's utterly fantastic. If not the best barbershop scent in the world, and definitely always in the conversation. That's Rive Gauche by Yves Saint Laurent. And then to finish this one off, this one is just a special fragrance, again, for cold weather. The only one, it's funny here, that I'd consider wearing in heat at all is, I think you could do Cartier Roadster. I definitely could do the Prada. And maybe Antidote, but I guess designer-wise, and I just find with a couple of exceptions, the lighter fragrances, the citrus fragrances, to just not be that special to me. But there's some that could have made it. Anyway, this one, the final one, is a beast in colder weather. This is rosewood, cinnamon, sandalwood, rose, tobacco, vanilla. Just it's a ton, but it's mainly focused on rosewood. And if you smell rosewood, you see there's a big dose of it in here. The only reason I don't own Bois d'Huile by Chanel, which is I find to be a fantastic sandalwood fragrance, is because this to me is just like a little bit of a lighter version, but to me it's almost as good. This is from the House of Chanel, and this one is Egoiste. And to me that's just a fantastic set. So if I'm keeping 10 designers, guys, I'm keeping Roadster by Cartier, Black by Bulgari, Dior Homme by Christian Dior, Infusion Dome by Prada, Abbot Rouge Eau de Parfum by Guerlain, Fahrenheit by Christian Dior, Coros by Yves Saint Laurent, Antidote by Victor and Rolf, Rive Gauche by Yves Saint Laurent, and Egoiste by Chanel. Those are my 10 keep for life. I hope you have enjoyed this video. And that's it. Between these and my niche, these are the 20 I keep for life, I guess. And that could change, but I don't know. I consistently wear these, and I consistently wear the niche ones, and these are sort of the fragrances that I feel like really speak to me. So and influence me as I try to make perfume. So that's it, guys. Any questions, please drop them in the comment section, and I'll see you again real soon with another video. Obviously, my name is Maximilian.
Now that I was getting older, stuck between honor roll and a bankroll, like a book or crack, a pen or a gap. Then I found my life boxed in. 23 hours in a cell, 5 years, no oxygen, no friends, no sight.